I came here by myself. It was so exciting. There was a drag queen on stage, and she said he's young, dumb, and full of cum. And everybody just kind of go.
The Sri Lankan society is pretty much still very like colonial. Just the root cause of that. Like as Western is that low, not reversing it. Reversing would be very much Sri Lankan, going back to where we were before we were colonized.
My dad, my mum as well, they said, you will be better off not being here. It's different when you're queer. You have to find a place of safety. You have to find a place that allows you to be accepted. And I guess I found it overseas.
Hi, I'm Supun and this is Langa. So one of the perks of doing this podcast for me is basically I've met a few really nice people. And today's guest is one of them, Saj. It's really nice to have you on the show. How are you?
Thanks, Supun. Really good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm great. Thank you again and for like agreeing to being on the show. It's really, we've had a couple of discussions before, like we met online and we've exchanged some ideas. And I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today. Let's start with a brief introduction of yourself. Like, where are you from? Where do you live now? Yeah.
Well, thanks, Supun. I guess to me, I look at any sort of venture like this as an opportunity. And so I guess I want to say thank you for this opportunity to be able to have a chat with you and I guess connect with people. I'm in Melbourne, so it is Sunday and it's 10:15. So it's quite late for for us in Melbourne. So people who are watching, I just want to be very open. As a I guess someone who's lived in Sri Lanka, I have poured myself a scotch and I will be consuming this scotch while we have this conversation. And I guess you can take the boy out of Sri Lanka, but you can't take the Sri Lanka out of the boy.
Totally.
I've been in Melbourne for nearly 20 years. It will be 20 years in Feb actually, and Supun, when we talk about what it was like being gay in Sri Lanka and what it was like going through that coming out phase, I guess it's one thing that will be really interesting to unpack because I left at a time when I was, I guess, quite insecure and unsure about what my life was going to be like. And then I moved into this big city at 21, and it was really interesting to navigate life in another country, and especially in a country where being queer was really just not an issue. And I guess I'd love to even ask you. I know you've recently had done a trip to Sri Lanka. What is it like now in Sri Lanka, and sort of take it from there, really.
Like again, like I'm really happy that you found your life in Australia, and I know how it feels like to be in a country where you're accepted and for who you are. Going back to your question, like yes, I was really excited to go back to Sri Lanka, so I went there after about 2 years. And in terms of like being queer in Sri Lanka, so now, like I have to say that what you see on social media and what's actually on the ground and in the society are probably like two different things, very two very entirely different feelings.
Tell me more.
I would say.
Tell me more. Okay.
So like I mean, in the society, like outside, like among people, like still like I don't think you can be like. It depends on where you live. Also, like if you are in Colombo, if you are in a certain society or in a certain it's basically a city, probably like you can be more like about yourself and you can be open about it and everything. But then again, if you go to suburbs to a different city, the experience might be different. But talking about the hate that you get on social media, I don't think that's there with people. Like, I don't think people really care, like, if you're gay or not, in the society, because they are the general public, they are very, like, they're busy, they have to earn money to live, and they have to get on with their lives, right? I don't think they have enough time to like worry about someone else's sexuality in reality. um so like that's what I felt like. The hate, the tension, and all this resistance that you see on social media, I don't think it's there in the society. But then again, there's the other side of it. Like it's still a criminal offense to be gay, but not to be gay,
Yes.
actually, to have gay sex specifically.
Yes.
I don't think the majority of people even are even aware of that, or if there's if they're aware there's such thing. Yeah, look, so like I didn't feel unsafe or anything like that to a great extent, but yes, you would be very cautious about yourself. You can't do. Probably, I wouldn't do the same things that I would do here in Sri Lanka. Like,
I was going to
I'd be
ask
more
you.
careful.
Yeah, because
Um,
so one of the things that I would define as safety, in I guess here in Melbourne,
right,
the capability of me to hold my partner's hand and walk down the street.
true.
And
Yes,
I know for me, I would do that without thinking because,
right,
there's no issue at all.
right,
And I think in my nearly 20 years at Melbourne, if you want to think of heckling or people saying things to you, I think I probably would have
right,
I probably would have had that happen maybe once, but they were the dickheads. I mean, I'm not sure if I can swear, but they were the ones that were probably the ones that were um
right.
the problem. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing you wouldn't do that in Sri Lanka, would you? I mean, holding another guy's hand
S-
and walking down the
Right.
street.
So it's an interesting question. I would do that, but then
Whoa.
again, like it's a very how do I say it? So I would do it because I, like for example, if I lived in a village in Sri Lanka, like, and if that's my like home village, and if that's where I was born, I don't think I would be able to do that. I'm too connected to people around me, and they are very concerned about those things. Even like, forget about being, holding hands with another guy. Like, even if you were straight and holding hands,
With
with
a
a girl
girl.
might be
Yeah.
seen,
Yep.
as a taboo.
Yeah.
So in that context, yes, like holding hands might not be safe, and you might
Mm.
be frowned upon, or even you might be even like confronted by people. But for me, coming from somewhere like not living there, and having that privilege gives me the sort of freedom to maybe hold hands. I don't think anyone would come and tell me anything. In most cases, there might be certain situations that it might be unsafe. So it's a very twisted situation. Like, if you're
Okay.
privileged to do it, you can
So
do
this is
it.
interesting. This is interesting, Supun. So I went to Sri Lanka for a visit probably about 2 years ago as well. And I was out drinking with some friends and we had a great night, to be honest. And the Colombo nightlife is actually quite good, right? And towards the end of the night, so this would have been around 3 a.m. or 4 a.m., so it was a really big night. And I was with my partner, and because we had been drinking quite a lot, I started to get quite affectionate with him. So I sort of, started, touching him. And when I say touching him, I just mean just showing an emotional connection. Nothing sexual. It was just touching him. And
Mhm.
my friend said to me, be careful because there's a lot of drunk people here. You do not want to cause a scene. And I remember at the time
Right,
thinking, really? Okay, cool. I mean, I'm not doing anything bad here,
right.
but even, to be told, hey, just be mindful, I
Hmm.
sort of went, all right, okay, I guess while a lot has changed, a lot hasn't changed.
Hmm.
And
Yes,
that I guess that freedom, as you say,
right.
of just kind of wanting to just be you and just hold a person's hand that you love. I felt like, oh, I guess it felt like it was taken away.
Yes,
So I thought that was
it's totally
interesting.
taken away. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, it's like, even like I would say that I would do it, but then again, I'd prefer not to do it also, like, because you
Yeah,
don't know what the situation is. Like, there's that, concern at the back of your head always. Should I,
yeah,
like, the society doesn't accept it, even though
yeah,
you can do it, even though you have the privilege of, being different, and, probably knowing to some extent that people might not attack you or anything for doing it, because, whatever privilege that you get from, living outside, you still, you're cautious. Like, you're not free. You don't feel safe to do that. I totally agree with that. So that has been taken away from you. That has been
yeah.
taken away from like, mostly from people who have different other, like, from sexual minorities, for sure.
Mm,
But it also has been taken from other people also. Like,
mm,
in general, sex is a taboo in Sri Lanka. That's a
mm.
very sad situation.
That's true.
There's that's why there's a lot of hate, probably hate against women, because, I don't know if this is accurate to say it. I mean, I'm not saying it based on facts or like statistics or anything. Like, I think mostly, like, probably even the young men are, like, sexually probably frustrated, which creates hate, against different groups of people, including us.
Yes.
Um.
And this is really, it's interesting that you say this, right? I think so. When I think of I turned 40 last year, and I would say I probably, not probably, sorry, I spent the first half of my life living in Sri Lanka, and I guess the second half of my life living in Australia. Now, obviously, I was a child in Sri Lanka and a teenager, so
Mhm,
I I guess my awareness of the world was very different to me being an adult. But I feel like living in a country for 20 years, I can feel the progression that uh, uh, at least Melbourne has had over the last 20 years. And while, 20 years ago, you could say there would have been more homophobia in Melbourne
mhm,
than where we are now, it's probably true. But you can actually sense that feeling of uh, people are talking about things differently.
mhm.
People are approaching the world and, like, sorry, approaching society in a way that's different. Would you say this is the same in Sri Lanka, or there's something stopping Sri Lankan society from progressing? And I'm only asking that because I feel like what you just articulated, with the sexism, with men being whatever frustrated, which then leads to, I guess, tendencies that are quite unacceptable.
Mhm,
We have been talking about that for a really long time,
mhm.
and it feels like nothing's changing. Or do you feel like it is changing, but it is changing at a slower pace to what we would see in other countries like Canada and Australia?
Mhm. I think so. I've asked the same question from myself for a very long time also, and over the course of time, what I've learned or what I've noticed, or like talking to different people, especially
Hmm.
on this podcast also, what I learned was that the Sri Lankan society is pretty much still very, like, colonial. Like, I think
Wow. Okay.
that's the root cause of that. Like, all this we this whole colonial culture, or the colonial values, have, like, shaped the thing that we call culture in Sri Lanka. Like,
Okay.
all these, it comes from this, from a very colonial mindset, where, like, sex is a taboo. Like, because before we were colonized, I think we had a much more openness towards sex, really, human connections and all that. Um, Especially, like, even the criminalization of homosexuality was brought in as part of, colonization of us,
Okay.
right? So all this hate, all this, that all these things, I think, come from that. perspective or from that mindset or that us not being able to decolonize ourselves yet. um, all these, categorizations, all these, different levels of values given to different groups of people, like all these colonial values are still there, like, and we've we are not ready to like get out of it, I think.
When will be
Like,
ready? When will we be ready, though?
exactly. So I think that I think that conversation should start, right? I think we still, like, whenever we do something different, whenever the reason that we cannot respect or adopt differences and all that is because, like, people are not ready to see that, okay, everyone is equal, everyone has equal rights, and then everyone has a right to, like, live their life the way they want. So without that, without people realizing that, I don't think I think it has happened. It has started to change, but then again, I think it's very slow, and I don't think the right message is taken to the society and all that. Even, like, how hard it is to, like, even, like, we know where we got 365 and 365A. We know the history of that. We know it's a colonial law. We know it's not Sri Lankan. It's very British, but still, we still couldn't reverse it. And every time we tried, even we start a conversation about it, it's bogged down by saying this is Western, whereas Western is that law, not reversing it. Reversing would be very much Sri Lankan, going back to where we were before we were colonized. So that's, I don't know, like, I don't know if people, when I look at some of this hate, I feel like it's not even that people are not aware of that. It's just they don't care, like, they just want to, like, hate people. I feel like, I think it's probably coming from a very, like, an economical reason also. People are, like, probably economically frustrated as well, so they see everyone who's thriving or everyone who's free as a threat or whatever, like, or they hate it simply.
So I guess that's and also I guess for those that are watching that may not know what 365A is, and is essentially the criminalization of any sort of gross indecency acts, right? And
Right.
and I guess what defines that, is it
Right.
subjective? I don't know.
But yes, it's very subjective and it's very vague also. Like, it includes not only just anal sex between men, anal sex in general, or oral sex. Yeah.
So I guess we are sort of digressing from I guess the topic of queerness, but economically frustrated, I think that is a very interesting term that you used. Do you feel that you moving countries and obviously seeking a better way of life and a better life essentially has made people in Sri Lanka judge you a bit more for choosing a path that is better for you?
There has been certain cases. So, like, it's a mixed. It's very mixed. Like, there's a huge part of, like, like, people who actually probably, like, engage with me on social media and all that. They think they sort of like the lifestyle I'm having, and they would look forward to have that also. And then there's the other part of people. I don't know if they actually really like it or not, but they really hate it. They think that it's against our culture, and so I get mixed responses, right? So, like, I mean, people who think that it's against people who actually like who see my stuff, who get who engage with my content or whatever on social media. Out of that, people who think that it's against the culture and everything is a minority. It's compared to people who think that it's good and all that. It's
Progressive.
it's basically the algorithm. So
Mm.
like, but it doesn't really say that that's a what do you call that's a real representation of the population. But yeah, it's just the algorithm chose people for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do get both of those responses. And you know, uh, yeah, especially like there was this incident where like I put a reel on the beach, like smoking a joint,
Yeah.
and then someone from my school days, like literally reached out to me and told me like it's fine to have that lifestyle, but do not promote it. So it's like do not promote it on social media. Do not push that lifestyle on Sri Lankan people and do not promote it. One thing is being gay, and the second thing is doing drugs. So I said both of those, uh, being gay and smoking a joint, both of those are very much legal where I live. So I'm not promoting or anything. I'm just living my life, and I'm just putting it on social media just like everyone else. I have the right to do it. So yeah, so that's how some people receive it like that. So that's one of the common accusations also, like whenever we talk about, whenever we speak up about our issues, whenever we show a rainbow flag, they think we
Mm.
are promoting it to non-gay people and trying to convert them. So that
Oh my
also comes
God.
from a
Okay.
very
Yeah.
lack of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
how long have you been in Australia? Like, when did you move to Australia?
Yeah, so it was nearly 20 years ago. So it was 2007,
Oh,
and
right. It's been a long
yeah,
time.
it's
Yeah.
been a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I just turned 21.
Right.
And you know what? I looked like I came here by myself, and I
Right.
came here to study. And oh my God, Supun, it was so exciting. Like it was. I
Right.
think the main bit of excitement came from the fact that I was really tired of living in Colombo. I was, I guess, when you finish school and you sort of I did my bachelor's degree in Colombo as well, and there were some good memories that I had, but I always felt like there's something here that doesn't feel right, and I think it mainly stemmed from
Mm-hmm.
being queer. And I'm thinking, what is a life for a queer person in Sri Lanka? And this was
Mm-hmm.
back in 2005 or 2006. And there were a couple of queer people that I met, and you know, I felt like a lot of them were just unhappy because society, they weren't trained to accept queer people back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I do not know what it's like now. I'd be really curious to know what it's like now. I did go to a couple of queer parties, 20 years ago, and it was really, it felt like it was underground. Like
Mm-hmm.
someone told you that this person
Mm-hmm.
has organized an event at a place somewhere, and you'd go
Mm-hmm.
there, and usually all the lights will be off
Mm-hmm.
for the public person side of it, but then you go inside, and then there'd be like this thing
Right.
happening inside
It's
because they
right
didn't want the
inside.
police to
Okay.
find out.
Right.
It was, yeah. Anyway, and I remember thinking, is this the life for me? I mean, I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
just didn't want to have that, and even having a boyfriend, like how do you even meet other gay men in Sri Lanka? And again, we're
Mm-hmm.
talking 20 years ago, like there were no apps or anything, right? So it's like, oh
Right.
God. Anyway, I am gonna acknowledge the fact that I came from a privileged background, and my dad, he's no longer around. He died, but he was privileged enough to have a really good job that enabled him to send me overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that said to me, "Look, I think it will be good for you to study overseas." And he gave me I guess my mum as well, because uh,
Mm,
they were they were both responsible for making the decision for me to leave Sri Lanka, and they said, I think you will be better off not being
mm,
here. I'm not going to get into it, but a part of that was also about me being Tamil, and
right,
anyway, I'm not going to go into that, but that
right.
was also another reason to it.
Yeah.
And I guess I just looked up what was available in Australia. Melbourne seemed like I guess, the more obvious choice, because it
Mm,
just seeing that education felt more accessible, especially uh the education path that I wanted to go down in Melbourne. It was more accessible in Melbourne rather than Sydney or any of the other big cities. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. So I mean, I remember coming here, really trying to work out what the hell's going on. I'm in a new country. I remember, I think in my first week, being shown around by one of my friends who used to live here. Sorry, who still lives here actually, but going to a gay bar and being
mhm,
absolutely
mm,
blown away. I remember I was 21. I was 21, and this gay bar that I went to, there was a part of me that had this sense of fear, thinking, "Oh, is this legal?" Because everything was
mm,
really open, everything was fine.
right.
And I remember, I don't know if I can say this on the pod, but I will anyway, and you can cut it if it's
Yeah.
inappropriate. There was a drag queen on stage, and she got this guy on stage, and she said something along the lines of, "And look at him, he's young, dumb, and full of cum." And I remember just kind of go, "Did she just say that? Oh my God!"
Right.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
that liberty of, actually, you're fine. You are safe.
Yeah.
This is freedom. This is what freedom looks like. Do
Right.
not worry. And
Yeah.
I feel like it just kept getting better. So like 2 years from then, I met my partner, and there was a massive rally in Melbourne City for marriage equality, and
Hmm.
that's sort of how I met my partner, because I went there, and he was there, and then we went to the after party. Anyway, and I don't know. I just look back at it now and I go, far out. It's been such a interesting ride, and would I have would I have gotten the same life experience if I'd stayed in Sri Lanka? No, and I genuinely think it is tied down to my queer identity, because if I was straight, completely different story. Chances are I would have, I don't know, married a Sri Lankan girl and had a couple of kids, and life would have been sorted. But it's different
Right.
when you're queer. You have to find a place of safety. You have to find a place that
Mm,
allows you to be accepted. And
yeah.
I guess I found it overseas.
Yeah. Yeah. I can totally relate to that as well. Like,
Yeah.
that feeling that you have, that you still think that you're doing something wrong, because you're still like,
Uh-huh.
you've been living like that, and that anxiety is there, and
Mm.
it's like you're not ready to do that. Like, can you, like, it's almost like you can't believe that things are happening to that extent, and that's
Yeah.
even allowed. It's like you look around to see, like, can I do this? Like, you look around for some validation, to
Yeah.
give you some confirmation that what you're doing is okay, and if there are
Yes.
other people doing it. So yeah, I think I still have that, for some to some level, like that. It kind of gets triggered, maybe, to for a few seconds, when you, like, first go to a club, like, maybe, like, it's sort of like internalized to some extent,
Yes. Yes.
sort of
Agree.
like,
Yes.
because I moved out when I was like 32.
Yeah.
So, like, very late in, I was like at the edge of being, young.
Yeah.
So, like, I've lived, like, 32 years in Sri Lanka, yeah. I was out, before I left, but then
Okay.
again, uh, not comfortably. for sure. Like,
Yes. Yes.
not in that society, you can, I mean, there's
No.
so much, yeah. So, yeah, like, totally agree with you. Like, yeah, I mean, that freedom that you feel here, and the fact that you don't have to worry about it, and you can just keep it aside
Yeah.
and worry about
Yeah.
real problems.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing that people need to understand, is that gay or not, you know, we all have we have to live our lives, which is not easy.
True.
Existing is really, really hard, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
Everyone's going through it, uh, more or less. Like, maybe some people are more privileged economically, you know, maybe for some it's a little easier, but in general, majority of people, the existence is it's really hard.
Yeah.
So why would we make each other's life even more harder by, like, oppressing them and hating them? So as gay people, as queer people, we have to, go through all that shit with other people go through. But then again, on top of that, we have to go through all this, trauma and, hate and all that. So I think
Yeah.
if we can get rid of that, I think, I mean, the governments should understand that it's economically, it's good for the country also. Like, it enables this huge force of productive people into the workforce, and, because they don't have to worry about, hiding themselves, or like spend their energy on something that must be like very trivial. It should be part of just part of your life, right? So
True.
that's a very, I don't know, like, even I'm being a little political here, but then again, I supported the current government in Sri Lanka. Like, I mean, even though I wasn't a Sri Lankan citizen, but then again, I supported it. On social media, I don't know, like, because they were probably the first political party who put, this, decriminalization, homosexuality, as one of their, promises in their, agenda, or
Really?
mandate.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
they've been talking about it very openly also before the election, but then again, now, like, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe they will do it, but then again, they have the majority. If they can do
Yeah.
it, no one can do it.
Yeah.
And also, like, okay, keep that aside. Okay, I can see that there are, the common argument, there are more important issues to address first. I mean, that's what
Yes.
we've been
People need to
told
put food on
for
their table.
centuries. Yeah. Like, every time that we talk about our issues, there are more important issues than that.
Yes.
Like,
Exactly.
they can call, I mean, those more important issues can be addressed in parallel. I mean, there's no dependency.
That's true.
But
Yes.
then again, okay, let's say, okay, yes,
Yes.
okay, as a government, there is some, there's some capacity that they can work within. Okay, let's address the more important issues. But then
But
again,
I guess
there was
I guess
this,
I guess that's one thing to acknowledge, right? The fact that we are living in countries that are quite advanced in terms of economic and I guess social
right,
status as well.
yeah,
That we can sit here, the fact that we're in two opposite sides of the world having a conversation about this, but your average Sri Lankan probably just wants money to pay bills and have food on their table to feed themselves and their family.
right.
And I'm being, I guess, quite keeping it real, right? I don't know. And so where does something like queer rights
Mm,
fall in that agenda that you mentioned
right.
when I don't know. What are your thoughts?
True, so if, for example, like, I understand that this government needs the support from the public to function, to address those, more important issues, right? So ending corruption, or,
Yes.
all that, and, improving the economy, the economy and all that. So yes, I do. get that priority. So if they bring in something like this in the midst of that, then it might create friction. They might lose the public support. I get it, but then again, there has been certain incidences where, like, even this government is, one of the things that the opposition uses to attack this government is this issue, because they had this in the in their mandate. So they literally call this government a homosexual government. They attacked the
Really?
Prime Minister Harini,
Okay.
saying that assuming her sexuality, and they attack her. So I get it. But then again, there has been certain incidences in the past, like throughout these years, like we had the LGBT community had to go through so much hate. There was this Watawala advertisement that sparked so much hate, and then
What's
there
this?
has been Watawala did this advertisement, Watawala Tea.
Okay. Yep.
So the advertisement is about, it's not even a gay thing. Like there's this family with a small kid who's a boy, and he's wearing a sari and doing. I mean, everyone wears a sari, mother's saris, and play with it. And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
this, so it kind of implies that probably this kid is maybe trans. I mean, he just
Yeah.
plays with this, wearing a sari.
Yeah. Yeah.
And mother is like supporting it, clapping and everything. And the father comes, and he gets angry and all that. And I forgot the last part of it, but it ends with a positive note on it that let kids do whatever they like, though don't
Yeah.
control it and all that. That's how it ends. This sparked so much hate on social media. This advertisement was part of a series of advertisements that address certain such issues. Like this was for queer stuff, and there were like women's issues and all. And it's a series of advertisements. This was singled out and was attacked. Not just the advertisement, not only they attacked Watawala Tea, they attacked the whole fucking LGBTQ community. Like so much stress on people from the community, like
Okay. Right.
and
Hey,
instead
Supun.
of
Yes, Supun.
yeah. So I was saying, so not only so they singled out that advertisement, and not only they attacked Watawala and the ad, but also like it went beyond that, and it started as an attack against the gay community. It was politicized. It was totally run by the opposition. They painted the whole story as the government is supporting this, and it's part of the government's agenda to promote homosexuality. But then again, it created so much stress because I could see like how much divided the community was on this. Like they started people from inside the community started attacking trans people, saying, okay, we have nothing to do with them. It's just
Of course. Yeah.
um,
Yep.
the amount of problems it created. And then about 2 days after, Watawala pulled that advertisement, apologizing for whatever um, uh, you know, whatever that, what do you call, for whatever, I don't know how to say it.
Commercially close or whatever. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, whatever it might have caused to the people who spread hate. I mean, the victim is someone else. Like the victim was the LGBTQ community. They created an ad, they sparked hate, and they pulled the advertisement, and they apologized from the people who actually attacked the community. Like that was the most disgusting and twisted incident that happened. But then again, the government was like dead silent about all that hate that went through. Yes, I understand that, okay, decriminalizing and all that can be like, kept aside for a bit to address more important issues. Yes, I understand. But then again, as a government, shouldn't they be like saying something about all this hate that's coming against a group of people.
Mm.
At least like don't mention gay or LGBTQ or anything like that. Just say that okay, you cannot. There should be certain, at some level, like
Yes.
someone cannot spread hate like that.
Yeah.
So that's some complaint that I have about it.
Yeah.
So that's one incident.
But I think that there's always this fear of pissing off the conservatives.
Yeah,
I think that's what it comes down to. I think
yeah,
there's in a lot of countries it's the same thing, and then
mm,
using fear as the token to make sure that these conservatives have a voice. So
yes,
your kids will be parents or whatever it is. It's just
hmm,
it's
yeah,
ridiculous, but yeah.
right,
This is interesting. Oh my God, I had not heard of this,
right,
but
right,
yeah, okay, that's wow, that's interesting.
right.
Mm,
Yeah, this was during when Trump was like thriving also, like, when just, I think just after Trump or during that time, I actually forgot the timeline. So this was when, the whole woke culture was attacked and,
yeah,
when Trump was coming to power or he has already come to power. And this whole bunch of Sri Lankan group of people who actually like fantasize him, the whole now it's a different story. Now,
yes,
things have been exposed and all that. But again, this was during a time where like, all that was happening. Um,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like it was a very interesting time,
Oh,
about a year or so
okay,
ago.
very interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I guess at the end of the day, it is an indication that there's a lot of work that needs to be done
Mm-hmm,
in Sri Lankan society, and uh, like even our discourse, this amount of this amount of commotion. I mean, I don't know. It's just yeah,
yeah.
it is interesting. Yeah. Um. So, Supan, I'm also curious to hear from you in terms of, so you're in Canada, like in Australia, there's a huge Sri Lankan community in Canada as well. Um, have you been connected with this community? Do you feel comfortable being yourself in this community? Do you reckon that there's a lot of them that have that snapshot of Sri Lanka when they left and they still haven't moved on from it? I'm really
Mm-hmm,
curious to
mm-hmm.
understand what it's like to yeah, be part of that, or not be part of it, to try and be connected with the Sri Lankan community overseas.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting also. Like so. I think probably because one of the reasons that we left Sri Lanka was not for part of it is because I mean one of the reason is an economical reason, like we wanted better um, life,
Life.
quality of
Yeah.
life. That's
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons. The second reason is because we wanted to have a better life in terms of like be able to be ourselves and be free and not
Yeah.
be you
Yeah.
not have to hide. Not that we
Yeah.
were hiding or anything, but then again, still like a different country and different um, laws. So
Yeah.
because of that, I think we I don't know if it's a good thing to say, but then again, we try to avoid the Sri Lankan community.
Uh-huh.
And I could do it because I moved with my partner together. So
Uh-huh.
I had a support system. So we had each other. So we didn't really need a lot of help from the community, if you know what I mean, like because we had each other. And I sort of already had a job when I moved here. Also, I sort of transferred from. I worked for a Canadian company when I was in Sri Lanka, so I sort of like I got the job immediately
Lucky. Very good.
for a much lower salary. uh, I was sort of kind of exploited in that way, but then again, I had the
Yeah.
opportunity to work here. Like I don't
Yeah.
have to look for jobs. um so because of that, I think so we moved directly to downtown. We got an apartment in downtown, which is not the usual case. If you just arrive in Canada as a Sri Lankan, like you don't
Yeah.
go and get an apartment right in the middle of downtown. It's a no-no. It's as a rule of thumb, you don't do it.
Okay.
And that's what I was told when so where I worked in here also, like there were a couple of Sri Lankan guys who worked there also, like, and when I said we found an apartment in downtown, he was like, why did you find an apartment in downtown? It's too expensive. You should find somewhere, in the suburbs.
Yeah.
So likewise, like we we didn't connect with the Sri Lankan community here, like because of all that trauma. We were like, because that's the very thing that we were escaping. So we didn't want
Yes.
to go back into that. So we sort of
Yes.
had an idea like it might be similar here also, like that community. So
Yeah.
we tried to avoid it. But then again, I so as a brown person, I feel more connected with brown people. So there's that
Yes.
also. Even though we were
Yeah.
escaping that society and that
Yeah.
group of people, then again I could make a better connection with another brown person. I
Yes.
felt
Yeah.
I didn't know about white supremacy and all this racism until I actually landed here. Because when you're in Sri Lanka, you see all these white tourists who are
Yeah.
nice. So you don't know the
Yes.
whole story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when you come here, there's this whole different set of new issues. Okay, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you're free as a gay person. You have all this freedom, but then again, there's this other problem of all this racism. This whole hierarchy of ethnicities and where you belong.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so you feel more comfortable with other brown people.
Yeah.
So we connected. Actually, we connected with the first few brown friends that we had were like Tamil friends, Sri Lankan Tamil gays.
Yeah.
We connected with a few of such really good friends, and then we did connect with other Sinhalese gays as well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we got connected with other, some white people, some from different ethnicities, but then again, not entirely with the Sri Lankan community as you call it, right?
Yeah.
But Sri Lankans or brown people who are not really part of the community. So that's where my community was. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Very
That's
interesting. Okay.
yeah. So how was it for you? Like,
Oh, okay. While you were telling the story, I was actually reflecting on, I guess, my journey in connecting with the Sri Lankan community. Look, I think um I do not feel connected with the Sri Lankan community here, and it has never been a thing in terms of I'm avoiding them or anything. It's just
mm-hmm,
never been part and parcel of my life decisions to be part of it.
mm-hmm,
And I think
right,
a big part of it was just, I guess I have niche interests in terms of,
mm-hmm,
I love film, I love TV, I love the arts, and I gravitated towards those people that had the same interests, and a lot of
mm-hmm,
the time they weren't Sri Lankans. Yeah. So I think
yeah,
I guess that was really it. And while I love Melbourne, the queer scene here, it can feel very white, and
mm-hmm,
I think I probably met maybe 2 to 3 Sri Lankan queer people. I could not even tell you their names. I've I guess I've spoken to them, obviously, but we've never really been in touch. And I think those who I have been friends with, I guess they're from different ethnicities,
mm-hmm,
including Australian. But
right,
yeah, it's never been yeah, I've never really found many queer um, South Asians to
mm-hmm,
connect with.
mm-hmm,
And maybe it's the fact that a lot of them do not go out and explore the scene.
right,
I don't know, but yeah,
mm-hmm,
it hasn't really been
right,
um that accessible, I guess.
mm-hmm,
And also, like when I was so when I was an international student, so like again 20 years ago, I mean I remember meeting quite a few South Asian queers. Again, I don't know where they're up to. Like I remember going out one night and meeting a lot of them because there was a South Asian queer night,
Oh.
and yeah, and I feel like I haven't been to one since. I haven't been to one in nearly 20 years. They do exist, but I feel like a lot of them, as in these queer nights or South Asian queer nights, they are for people who are sort of new to the country, wanting to have fun because they feel quite ostracized and I guess closeted from where they come from, and I feel like there's nothing I can connect with because that's not my
Mm-hmm.
life now. I've done that, that would have been me 20
Right.
years ago. Like it's not me now. I
Yeah.
don't, go out and get crazy anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess it's just different. But yeah, in terms of the Sri Lankan community, and I also think, Sufin, there's also, in my opinion, you have the two types of Sri Lankan communities. So you have those where they're the second generation of migrants, where
Mm-hmm.
they moved here when they were kids. They're quite open-minded, so that because they've
Mm-hmm.
been exposed to that different way of thinking, and then you have those that maybe have moved here, say when when they were in their mid-20s or 30s or whatever, um,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like they would be the ones that I'd be more, um, I guess, not concerned, but more, they'd probably be less open-minded,
Mm-hmm.
because they're still sort of trying to work out what is okay in Australian society.
Right.
Um, Yeah, again. So, it just really depends. And I guess even though I asked you the question about Sri Lankan community, it's such a broad thing for for them as well, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
there are so many layers to it. So, as I say, there would have been people that, and especially in Canada, I'm guessing that in people that would have moved there in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
when the whole the civil conflict was happening, and then I bet they just probably consider themselves as Canadian as well. Like, like over here, they
Right.
probably consider themselves Australian. And then you have the people that moved here throughout the years after, and
Mm-hmm.
also within a really short time frame of maybe the last 10 years. So, and I think
Mm-hmm.
as the further along the line that
Mm-hmm.
migration happened, the more open-minded they're and safe they're more
Mm-hmm.
likely to be. And again, I've got no data to prove this. I'm just basing it off observation and
Right.
stories, right?
Right. Yeah, I understand. Like, so the situation here is like, yeah, just like you said, there's this like here, like there's this huge community who migrated during the civil conflict, basically the Tamil people,
Yeah, yeah,
and that community is large enough to sort of like self-sustain
yeah,
within.
yeah,
So, yes, they are Canadian. Yes, they are under the Canadian law and everything, but then again, they are their own like community.
mm.
It's like a mini Tamil Sri Lanka there. Like, when you go in there, like it's just I don't know. I'm not gonna say that their values are good or bad. I'm not the person to
Mm.
say that. I mean, I'm not in a position to say that. But then again, they brought in all the values as is.
Right.
I think same goes
Okay.
for the Sinhalese community as well. Probably there's a huge
Yeah, probably.
Sinhalese community.
Yeah,
Um, I think I've got the sense of both sides from a sort of a distance, not by living among them, but from an outside, as an
yeah,
outsider, by uh, not often, but sometimes like interacting with them, right?
yeah,
Um, uh, what I saw like was that the second generation gays
yeah,
from those families are
yeah.
actually discreet here, like because there's
Oh,
so much pressure on them.
of course. Yes, 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 yes. Of
Because
course.
their parents are the first generation. They
Yeah,
migrated here with the values
yeah,
from Sri Lanka, and they're
yeah,
putting so much pressure on those kids. Like I feel so
Right.
sorry for them
Okay.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, like especially like, I've met a lot of Tamil gays like who would come to parties who would like I've hooked up with also like, and then
Yeah.
again they're very discreet, like really
Interesting.
discreet. Yeah, like
Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes I don't know, I don't, I feel bad for it because I compare them like based on what I want. Probably they are okay with it. Just but then again, sometimes I feel they are discreet to an extent where I feel bad about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they are really nice. Like as you said, that when you're second generation, you've been sort of assimilated. I have my
Yeah.
thoughts on it, but then again, yeah, they've assimilated and they they have all these Canadian or whatever values. I'm not saying those values are good or bad either. Like
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so yes, so all that, but then again,
Yeah.
they are scared to come out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Uh, so, Subin, can I just quickly tell you this? We're going to slightly digress, but when I first came to Melbourne, I remember being asked from a Sri Lankan girl, "Are you
mhm,
Sinhalese or Tamil?"
mhm,
And it was the weirdest question to be asked because so 21 years in Sri Lanka, at least in my circle of friends, no one
right,
gave a shit what my
right,
race was. I had friends that were Sinhalese, Tamil, Muslim, anything,
right,
and no one cared. No one cared
right,
at all. I think with the Muslims during Ramadan, we'd be like, "Where's our wat lapang, man? Come on, give us some."
right,
Or
yeah,
where's the biryani? And that would be the only time. Or during Christmas, they'd send me. I'm Catholic, by the way, but they'd send
right,
me American sausage. But no one cared. And then
yeah,
it was a weird thing. I came to Australia and I was asked by someone,
mm,
"Are you Sinhalese or Tamil?" And it was weird. It was like I actually had to think of it to go, wait, what? What did you
mm,
just offer? Um, and I think a lot of it is that need to hold on to identity,
mhm,
racial identity when you move. Uh,
right.
yeah, it
It's
was really
just,
strange. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like being outside of all that, not being in part of any of that, I think lets you like see what's going on, sort of like
yes, yes, yes,
um yeah, I think
yeah,
that's a perk of being queer, I think, because when you're queer, for me at least personally, like being queer made me didn't make me, you know, one of them, to be so nationalist, to be
yeah,
attached to your race
yeah, yeah,
so much, because
yeah.
you were not
That's
belong
yeah,
anywhere, right? So
that's
yeah, we
true.
don't feel anything about those stuff.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's a perk for me. But
That's
there are
the
so
yeah,
very nationalistic. I don't know if that's the word. So gays, you know,
yeah,
there's a lot. I'm not
yeah.
one of them. Yeah, so I think that's probably because I'm queer. One of the reasons
Mm,
is being queer, I think. Yeah. Well, yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
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 interesting.
that's true.
Um,
Yeah.
shall we wrap up?
Yeah, we should wrap up for today. Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. Um, Supin, it has been absolutely fabulous to have this conversation with you. I think conversations like this are really important in life. I think finding connections and also talking about things that impact people and sharing your stories just means that the other people listening can either acknowledge that this is something that they might be going through or
Yeah,
agree or disagree. And then that just generates a bunch of conversations that really just generate learning.
right.
And that's how I
Yeah,
see it,
yeah,
at least. You know.
yeah,
Again, as I said at the start, it's about opportunity, and for me, anything in life, it's all about giving people opportunity because that's how we sort of create this inclusive culture.
yeah,
So to me, I just want to say thank you for providing people this opportunity and this platform to have these conversations because it's really important.
yeah. Thank you so much, Saj. I actually really appreciate that you agreed to be on the show, and thank you so much for like connecting with me. And I'm really happy that I'm doing this podcast because I get, just like I said in the beginning, right? I got to connect with so many really nice people, amazing people like
Yes.
you
Yes.
and like Sean, who lives in Australia as well.
Yeah.
I've learned so much. I mean, yes, like I started this podcast thinking I would just, with my other friend also, like thinking we would just talk about different experiences and all that. But then again, that shifted to like for me to learn things from,
Yeah.
and also like getting to know new people. Like it's
Yeah.
so amazing. I think
Yeah.
that's more important to me. Like as I'm really happy that I started doing this because of that. Because
Yeah.
personally, I have so much stuff that I actually gained because of that. And
That's
really, again, I really appreciate that you joined. And I mean, I want to keep continuing this conversation with you. Like, I think we should do a lot of episodes, and we can pick up different topics. And today was like a
sure.
very casual,
Sure.
conversation. But yeah,
Just
I'm happy
yeah.
to do
It's
more
a start.
conversations.
It's a
It's a
start. Let's
start.
put it like
Yes,
that. It's a
it's a
start.
start. Yeah,
Oh,
cool,
well, it's
awesome.
11:20 p.m. Melbourne time on a
Wow, it's late.
Sunday, so I've got
I have
work
to work tomorrow.
tomorrow. Yeah, I've got to work tomorrow. So yeah, I've got it. And look,
Yeah,
I know you're going to start your day. I hope you've got a.
yeah.
Have you had breakfast yet?
No, I had a coffee, but
Ooh.
I have to have breakfast now.
Okay. Are you gonna leave your home for breakfast, or are you gonna have it at home?
Just gonna have it at home. Yeah, yeah. Just
Nice.
gonna have some
Okay, cool.
eggs.
I was gonna ask, is it gonna be bacon and eggs or
Yeah, not bacon, just eggs and
just
maybe a
eggs
toast.
on
Yeah,
toast?
keep it.
Eggs on
Yeah,
toast.
yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Saj. And
Fantastic.
yeah, see you soon.
Thanks everyone.
And
Yeah.
have a great week. Bye.
Yes.
Take care.
You too. See ya.